Good morning, everybody. My name's Justin Rogers. We're here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV. Today we're going to be doing one of Newmar's new lines for the year. It is going to be a Newmar Grand Star in the floor plan 3444. So what that means to you is it's a Super C on the S2RV chassis. It's under 35 foot long, so you still get access to a lot of your state and national parks. You have a 12,000 pound tow capacity with this motorhome. So you'll have plenty of capabilities for any of your small trailers or larger tow vehicles behind you, just depending on what your use case would be. So up front, you're gonna have the chrome fittings on it. It's not optioned with their Onyx package that blacks out the wheels and everything on it. Ooh, it's cold. There we go. All right, so up front powering this is gonna be the ISB 6.7 liter. So you have 360 horsepower, 800 foot-pounds of torque. So this same motor will be used powering a lot of like your Class A motorhomes on the lesser chassis and stuff, and they'll go all the way up to 40 foot with that, with this powertrain in it. So having it on a 34 foot, 10-inch motorhome, you're gonna have plenty of power to weight ratio instead of pushing it to its limits like you'll have on those 40 foot Class A's that some manufacturers use. Going around the passenger side, you'll have your big side view mirrors on those. So you have the big upper mirror that's going to be seating down the sidewalls and definitely shifting lanes and stuff like that. That top portion is going to be electronically controlled on the inside. The bottom portion is going to be for those angles down low. That's going to be all manual on both sides. Inside the door, we'll be able to see a couple of the chassis features right now. So you do have air ride seats in these, so you can adjust them from the front and the sides on those. You can adjust sliding back and all those creature comforts that you get on the Super C chassis versus those rigid Class A seats. Below that, you're gonna have the steps. So you do have the metal step lines, and it does have the different size holes and everything. So it gives you a lot of traction, especially in that winter weather. It's also really useful for help getting some of that dirt and grit off your shoes, depending on how you're using this motorhome. On the left, right, and rear, you're gonna have side view cameras. So they do have them mounted over here. They are below the belt line. So from the cab back, you're gonna be able to see down the sides of you, and it just gives you a little bit more peace of mind when making turns or changing lanes or anything like that. So next we're going to cover some of the outdoor stuff on here. There's a few key features on the outside of it. So you're going to have an exterior TV with a sound bar that's going to be built into the back side of the dinette on the inside. So a very convenient place for it where you don't lose a whole lot of space on the inside. Up above that, you're going to have the awning. So this awning does have the arms going down the side instead of the armless awnings like on our Class A's, but you're gonna have the rock guard on it to protect it. So that's gonna help prevent it from sun fading, tree marks, any debris, anything like that. And it's just gonna promote the longevity of that fabric, because it's not the easiest thing to replace, and it can be annoying when you get pinholes in it over time as the unit ages. The next thing we're going to cover is your storage compartments. So in this first bay, you do have felt line in here that's going to help with noise transference as well as stuff sliding around. Just gives it a little bit more of an insulation factor in here. You'll be able to see one of your Oasis parts right there. So that's going to be for the in-floor heat. You can see the hydronic fluid going in there. There's a little radiator inside that with a 12-volt fan, and that's what's going to heat inside the motorhome without having to use a propane furnace. So it helps keep the air, it helps not dry out the air, especially, that's important, especially here in Colorado where it's already dry here. Next storage bay, you're gonna have about the same size here, but you're gonna have a larger upper. As you can see up in that upper, you're gonna have additional tiles. So one of the cool features about the Grand Star is it does have an all tile floor. A lot of the motorhomes on this S2RV chassis aren't going to have that. So it's just one of those things Newmar did to differentiate it from its competition. The steps and the entry door, so you'll have 3 steps to get in. You have an extra wide entry door, then you do have the tile. You have the solid surface as you come in right here. So again, just to help promote the cleanliness, longevity of it, you don't want carpet right here, just minimize all of the wear and tear and the grime that you can get in a motorhome. In the steps itself, you're gonna have a couple storage compartments. So you can put some small things in or some dirty things in. This one goes a little bit deeper down to the depth of that first step. So it just gives you a little bit more space to put stuff. So having that third step on the outside just makes it where it's much easier to get into, whereas some of the motorhomes will have where it's awkward to get in and out, or it's a little bit higher, especially if you have bad knees or you're a little bit older. One of the other cool things that we can talk about right here, it's probably be easy to see because of the sunshine. So you'll see they have a clear bra on all of the high traffic areas. So you'll have it right at the kick plate at the steps. You'll also have it around the door handle and where the grab handle is. So that's like, you're not gonna scratch your paint when you're fumbling with keys, fingernails, or anything like that. They'll put that on the front bra of the motorhome, or on the front portion of the motorhome, sometimes in the fender liners and the wheel wells, and then usually kick plates, grab handles, and stuff like that, just so you're not scratching it over time. So in this next compartment, going to be another storage bay in here. So you'll see one of your first tanks. So you can see the tank is going across the frame line right there. That's going to help give you even weight distribution of the motorhome as you're filling up your tanks and loading it down. In this compartment, you'll also have the central vacuum system. That is an option for the Grand Star, and we did option it with it. In this, you'll have the bag of accessories for the central vacuum system. And then right here, you also have the felt pads that come on the floor whenever it's coming from the factory in transit, and that's just going to help keep roller marks off those tile floors. So the next one's just going to be a utility bay. This is going to be where your fresh water tank is. You'll also have the drain for it down here. So it gives you a little bit of insight in it. There is a little tiny bit of storage down below. If you want to stick a fresh water hose or anything like that, you can put that down there. So next one, you're gonna have your bank of 6 house batteries down below. You'll also have a storage tray up above. So this will go about 2/3 across the length of the motorhome. It's gonna be felt lined as well, so you can put any of your larger items up there. You could put more of a narrow, long table up there, and that'll just give you a little bit more outdoor patio space. So back here, you're gonna have more storage. You're also gonna have your inverter back here. So recently Newmar switched to Victron inverters on it. So it's definitely more of the premium line of inverters that's out right now. So having that technology in here just makes it a little bit more beneficial to the customer, as well as promoting the longevity of the motorhome. And if you do decide to upgrade battery systems, switch to lithium or anything, having an upgraded inverter from the factory makes it where you have a lot less things to change out in the long run if you do decide to modify your motorhome. So while we're at the corner right here, we'll show the flush mount slides that Newmar does. So they pretty much invented the slide room for the Class A motorhome. What they do is, they're one of the only manufacturers that uses flush slides. A lot of the other ones will have this big lip that carries over this and a D-seal on that, and that's what actually will prevent any of the wind and rain from getting in. So what they do is they still retain those individual seals, but they recess it into the sidewall there, so you're less likely to get any wind noise, water intrusion, or anything of that nature. So just, again, promoting the longevity of the motorhome and just have a higher build quality up front. So the rear cap, so you're gonna see the Newmar Grand Star badging. They're gonna carry that paint job onto the back just so it's not a plain black or white cap like you'll have on a lot of the other ones where they just do details down the sidewalls. It does give it a nice finish. It is a one-piece molded fiberglass cap. You do have a little tiny separate piece for the camera up there. If you ever need to make any adjustments to that, just so you can. Down below, you're gonna have your towing. So from the factory, they equip them with Gen Y hitches, so you can tow 12,000 pounds. You'll also have a 7-way plug from the factory in here. And down below, you're also gonna have your mud flap. So that's gonna help keep any debris from going up and hitting your tow vehicle, your trailers, or anything that you have for your toys. That way you don't have to have an enclosed trailer. You could have the open box trailer and just limit a little bit more of that debris hitting it. So working our way down the driver's side, this will be one of the bays. So in here you're gonna see it's all plastic lined and stuff. So this is where you're gonna have one of your dump tanks, either for the gray or for the black. You're gonna be able to run your sewer hose up through that. You have the little screw down there and you can drain it down. like that, but it also has the little cutout in there, so if you do spill anything in here, you can take a hose and rinse it out and not have to worry about, you know, getting anything mixed in with the felt or anything like that. Next bay, you're going to have your built-in surge guard and transfer switch. That's going to be the box behind the power cord reel. That's automatically going to detect whether you have generator power or 110 power and transfer it back and forth depending on whatever your needs are. You'll have your 50 amp cord on a power cord reel, so it makes it really convenient for hooking up and unhooking. Right now, the cold weather, if you guys are veteran campers, you're going to know that dealing with those 50 amp wire cords when it's nice and cold, they are very, very stiff and rigid, and it's hard to get them back where they need to go. So having that power cord reel is super beneficial for you guys. The next bay is going to be your diesel generator. So it's going to be an 8,000 watt diesel generator. It's more than enough to power this whole motorhome. You'll see this same size generator at a lot of your larger Super Cs, as well as a lot of your Class A's, Class A diesels. So very, very large power plant for this size motorhome. Back here, you're going to have your diesel fill. So it is just a single side fill, just because it's the S2RV chassis. That's what it allows for. The tank is located between the axles back here, so it's going to give you good weight distribution when you're driving down the road, especially since you have the engine up front, so that's already adding a lot of weight up there. Next bay here is going to be your traditional water bay. So you'll have your freshwater connection in here, your black tank. And you're also going to have your whole house water filter in there. So right now we do have it winterized, so we have it taken off and sitting down there. Your filter is still down there, so you can have it. You'll also have a hot and cold outdoor shower. Another one of those drains down there, and again, just a plastic lined compartment, so if you ever need to rinse it. So one of the other cool things that's out here is you also have access to your water pump. So your water pump's down in this space, so it's easy to get to. If you ever have any leaks associated with that, or if the water pump fails, it's one of those things that you can do DIY instead of having a mobile technician come out and take care of it, just for convenience, especially when you're out on the road. Next bay is going to be another little storage spot. In this bay, you'll have your Oasis Chinook. So this is going to be your hydronic heating. This will be a continuous water heater as well as your furnace. So in the Oasis, you're going to have a diesel burner as well as 2 electric elements. It outputs more BTUs than your traditional furnace, as well as its other hydronic counterparts. So it just makes it a little bit more output there and more efficient. The other cool thing about the Oasis, and one of the reasons that Newmar does it, is it's a more serviceable product. So whenever an aquahot fails, a lot of the time you'll have to replace the whole unit, whereas this, you can open it up and replace individual components in it. So it just makes it a cheaper maintenance in the long run if things do start becoming problematic in it. The last bay up here, you're going to have your fluid for your Oasis, your hydraulic pump for your automatic leveling, and you'll also have your 2 chassis batteries in here. So this compartment is all open. It is exposed to the elements, and the reason for that is you can't enclose house battery, or you can't enclose traditional batteries like you can lithium batteries. It has to have room to breathe, just in case if there's ever any off gassing and stuff like that. So, on your driver's side, you're going to have a locked box right here. This is going to be for your depth fill. Inside here, you're going to be able to see a few more of your controls. So on the seat itself, you can see your height adjust. You can see locking it up and down so you don't get the bounce feel like you get with the air seat. You also have lumbar adjustment. So on the left side, you're going to have the pedal to be able to adjust the steering wheel. And then on the right side in here, if you want to swap, Jody, you're going to see the chassis battery disconnect. So the chassis battery disconnect used to be in that compartment that we just saw, but it was like up in the corner and kind of hard to get to. So one of the changes that Freightliner recently made was putting this house disconnect, or the chassis disconnect, right in here, and it makes it a lot easier to do. Open the door, turn it on, open the door, turn it off. So just more accessible to most customers. You'll see the mirrors again, and then you'll also see the prep for the CB radio, so if you ever want to add that in the long run. So now we're going to transition into the inside of this. We'll go through a few of the key features in here and what makes it unique, especially for the size. So we kind of covered the wide entryway in here. One of the cool things that they do in this entryway is there's two functional switches. Like, you'll have a cargo light switch right here. So right now we have all those cargo lights on. If we flip the switch to off, it'll kill all the power to those cargo lights. So you're not having to constantly fumble, turn them on and off. You can just hit the master switch right here and be able to turn all of them on and go do what you need to do out there. And then above the fire extinguisher here, you're gonna have a ceiling light switch. So that just makes it easy a lot, especially for us as salespeople, but also for the customer. When you walk in, you're not just walking into a dark motorhome. You can flip the ceiling light switch on and it'll turn all your ceiling lights on, and then you can come in and turn the rest of them on, or whatever is needed. While we're in the step wheel, we'll cover one more thing just because it's convenient. You'll have your central vacuum system located right here. So this is pretty much the center of the motorhome. You have the kick sweep here, but you also have the hose attachment here. So you can reach from one end of the motorhome with those hoses down below, and just, again, makes it convenient for cleaning, especially since this is an all tile floor. So you just sweep everything up and then vacuum the corners. All right, so now above the steps. So above the steps in the Super C is gonna be where some of your main controls are. You're gonna have your Victron controller here, your power management system, and a few of your main switches. So your battery disconnect is gonna be over here, steps, block heater, patio light for outside, wine guard antenna. Your awning controls will also be here, the awning lights will also be here, and then your main slide out controls are gonna be here. So one of the cool things about the 3444 is it's going to be a Super C, a 34-foot Super C, but you'll also have a full wall slide. So that's gonna open up this motorhome a whole lot, even though it's a, you know, smaller Super C. A lot of the times you'll get some compartmentalization whenever you have smaller Super Cs, especially in this this length, and you'll also have that whenever you're in Class A's that are this length. And then one of the other cool things is there's still a bedroom slide back in the bedroom. So I'll go ahead and open that up now, just so it's all ready for us just to do the walkthrough on it. So Newmar makes it where you have slide room switches in the rooms that you're opening them. So that one was in the bedroom, so you can get a good glance of all the slide going out and make sure you're not gonna crush anything or make any loud noises. Same thing with the bedroom. The bed slide is always gonna be back in the bedroom, so you can kind of see what's going on whenever you're opening and closing this, just so you don't damage anything. Because it does sound expensive if you get something stuck behind a slide. All right, so we'll cover the front portion of this motorhome first. So what's unique to the Grand Star versus the other Super Cs that Newmar has to offer, like the Superstar and the Supreme Air and the Summit Air, is you can have a cab over bunk on this chassis, because this is a lower cab height that gives them enough space where you can have this cab over up here. So what's cool it is the large bed, lengthwise and widthwise, so you can fit 2 adults up here, 2 kids up here, and be extremely comfortable. They do have a ladder that's stored right there. You just clip it on the front and it's very easy to get up. You do have an electric shade up there, so you can block off the sunlight and create a vapor barrier, especially when it's cold out. You also have 2 vents up here, so you don't ever have to worry about in the summertime, you know, cooking somebody out of this front cap, because, you know, it is 3 sides open to the elements outside, so you can get some temperature transference. So having that designated AC in there will help keep them comfortable. On both sides, left and right, you're going to have a cubby. In that cubby, you're going to have 110 outlets as well as a USB-A plug. So you will be able to have some power for charging, iPads, laptops, anything that you want to have up there, your guests need to have up there. And when it's time to go to bed, or if they just want some privacy, you do have a built-in roller shade up there, so they can block themselves in, or you can block them in if you don't want to see them anymore. Just depends on how much you like those guests. All right. This is on a gas strut too, so you just tilt it up, it'll keep itself pinned up there, and it makes it easier to get in and out of this cab. So again, more creature comforts, especially if it's just going to be 2 of you for some time and then the occasional guests. But if you do want to bring any more people, this dinette does convert to a bed. We saw the cushion in that back bedroom. But you flip over. This is essentially what people would call like a dream dinette. You flip the locking lever over, and then you just push down on it, adjust the cushion some so you can get the table down flat, and then you'd set that center cushion down in the bedroom that we saw. And that'll make it sort of a short bed. So either a really short adult or again, some children. So in the living room of this unit, you will have day and night shades. So I have the day shades down right now just for some glare protection, but you also have the night shades. So whenever you're ready to go to bed or you want some privacy or just totally block out that sunlight for like a movie or anything like that, you can do that. We'll swap those back. One of the cool things about the windows is they are frameless tilt out. So you just rotate them and open it up. You can utilize a max air fan like an attic fan, and you get a nice good cross breeze in here. You do have it over here behind the theater seats as well as in the kitchen area. And one of the other cool things is they are insulated windows. So that's gonna have basically acoustic glass as well as a little bit more insulation in the motorhome whenever you're doing cold weather camping. You'll have a TV and a sound bar up here above the dinette. So if you're sitting in the dinette, a little bit awkward, but it is directly across from the theater seats. So that's gonna give you more of a prime viewing position whenever you wanna do that. On both sides, we'll switch Jody. On both sides, you're gonna have some storage, and then you'll have a little bit of the electronics up there so you can get to it. And you'll also have prep for Starlink. We try to option all of our motorhomes with that because we are noticing that Starlink is becoming a far more popular option. So you can get it from the factory, or you can just get the prep as a special from the factory. That way it's easy to install later down the road. Because some people like it, some people don't, just depends on that. And you do have a glass front cabinet, so if you want to stick a DVD player, Blu-ray player, anything like that up there, you still can get that infrared light from that remote through there. All right. So now we'll switch sides. So the next side is going to be driver's side over here. You're gonna have your theater seats in here. So they are manual, so you'll just pop that out. And they do recline pretty well. So if you're someone that likes to take a nap in a chair, you can do that. They are quite plush, so they do have a lot pressure on your back whenever you're doing it, so it's a little bit more comfortable. Especially since they're smaller theater seats that fit in a smaller Super C. You'll have built-in the steel cup holders right here, so you don't have to worry about damaging any wood trims or anything like that. You'll have the same countertop for your kitchen built in right here, so you can set glasses or anything on. You don't have to worry about condensation. Down in here is going to be a large storage compartment. There's also power built down into the center of this. So you'll have 2 USBs as well as 2 110 outlets. So if you're, again, want an iPad, want a laptop, anything in your lap while you're doing that, you can charge that and have it going. To the right of the front seat, you're going to have one of your control panels. So you can control pretty much the whole motorhome from right here. You can control all your AC settings in here, as well as all your different lights, your auto-gen setups, and you can see your tank levels, and then you can control the brightness of this panel with that top right button. So again, just more creature comforts, makes it easier to access everything, especially if you want to, darken the motorhome to watch a movie or something. You don't have to get up and find all the individual light switches. Up above, you're gonna have a large storage spot. It does go all the way through, so if you want to stick any longer items in here, you can. In the kitchen, we'll go up here. You're gonna have all the vehicle information for the motorhome. Those are gonna be the stickers taped to the cabinet door and the wall. You'll have your customer support line that they put in each and every Newmar. You'll also have your bag of owner's manuals. So we just keep those up there just so they're convenient for us to find. Down below that, you're gonna have your kitchen area. So in the kitchen area, you're gonna have a residential style faucet. You're gonna have a big stainless steel sink. You'll have sink covers that are cut out of the countertops, so they do match. And they are heavy, so you can use them for additional prep space or anything like that. You'll have an outlet off to the right side here, so you can reach in there and use that for any appliances. You'll also have an outlet at the base of the cabinets right here. Your microwave. you're going to have a convection microwave in here, and it also has air fry option. So if you want to do any like small pizzas, any cooking or anything like that, you can set this up as an oven. This particular unit we optioned with all electric. That's one of the reasons why it doesn't have an oven, as well as it has that Oasis that we saw outside. One of the other things that adds is you also get their induction cooktop. So in the induction cooktop with Newmars, they are removable. So if you're one that wants to cook outside, you just pick this up, unplug it, and you can take it wherever you need to take it, especially if you want to cook outside. Again, more covers, just so you get more prep space, but in the cooktop covers, they do route it out, and they put cutting boards in below them. So you can use that cutting board, and it's built in. You'll have a tile backsplash in here just to help protect any of the wood or the luan that's going on in here, so you don't have to worry about grease stains, anything like that, and damaging those products. Below that, it's sponge spices, whatever you want to stick down there. Nice large storage spot below the kitchen. A lot of the times kitchens have minimal storage below the sink, so it's nice to actually see one with something larger. You'll have quite a few drawers, and they are deep drawers, so again, more storage. They are soft close, so just more residential feel like you expect with Newmar. So this one was optioned without the dishwasher, so this is what those 3 drawer combinations would look like. So you get more storage in here, but if you're one that wants to stick larger pots and pans in there, the dishwasher would make for a good storage spot for that. Because then you, instead of 3 drawers, you just have the dishwasher in here, and it gives you, you know, the depth of 2 of those. So the last section of the kitchen before we swap sides again is going to be the fridge. So it is a residential fridge and freezer. You do have an ice maker in there. So a lot of storage space and very easy to use. And then Newmar does put these travel locks in here, so it just makes it easier. You pull it over and you can tug on it, and it's going to keep it locked in place. You don't have to worry about the fridge doors flying open. So it's a good thing to help prevent the dents that you always see in a lot of other manufacturers' fridges. So the next is going to be pantry. So you're going to have pull-out pantries. You're going to push in on it, and that's going to release it and stick it out a little bit, and that's what's going to give you all that additional storage. So you do have six pull-out pantries, and then a little bit of storage down at the bottom. So if you want to stick some other items down there, you can do that. All right. So we'll swap Jody. We're going to go to the control panel that's behind you. So this is going to be your main master control panel. So when you're at the home settings, it's kind of an overview. If you're familiar with like Dutch Star and down, you're going to have this same panel and everything. So it's very familiar for anybody that's already a Newmar customer. Water pump, tank heaters, you'll be able to see all your tank levels, your battery voltages. You'll have all your master light controls over here. Your generator settings in here. So again, you'll be able to see your battery voltages. You can turn on your generator, your auto gen start, set it up, and then change all the settings, and also set your quiet time hours. That way you don't have it running at 10 o'clock at night and disturbing any of your neighbors or campmates. The HVAC buttons is going to be how you can control your thermostat. So you are going to have 2 15K ACs above. They both have heat pumps. So I have it set to auto right now, so it's going to try and keep it at the correct temperature that it needs to be. So what's cool about that, we're going to turn that off so it doesn't turn on the AC. And what's cool about that is it'll turn on the furnace, turn on the heat pumps, turn on the AC, and help regulate that temperature within a certain amount of degrees in there. You can set up the eco mode will give you, I think it's like a 5-degree variation. That way if you're trying to be more eco-friendly. Hold will keep it at certain temperatures. You can also set it up the AGS for temperature settings. That way if you keep any pets in here. Your Oasis controls to turn on your burner or your electric elements are also going to be on right here. So the next one is going to be Bluetooth pair. You can download the app for this, and you can control anything that's on this panel from the app on your phone. It is Bluetooth, so you're going to have a certain radius around your motorhome that it works. And then the last one's just going to be all your individual lights. So you can see each of your zones of lights, and you can turn all of them on and off individually. So just convenient for everything. Down below that, you're gonna have the fantastic vent fan. So that's just gonna be the max air fan that's above our heads right now. That's gonna act like an attic fan. It is placed in the kitchen, so if you wanna get a good ventilation whenever you're cooking and not have any smells in here, that's gonna be the best one to use for that. So in the bathroom, so in this bathroom you do have quite a bit of storage. You do have the bowl sink above, you have the countertops that are just gonna be the same as the kitchen, but they do extend that countertop up to the wall a little bit just to give you a little bit of backsplash and protect that woodworking that's in here. So in here you're gonna have storage for your medicine cabinet. You're gonna have deep corner storage in each of those, and that Newmar router up there is gonna be for the Wi-Fi booster that they have. And then up here you're gonna have more storage in here. So you'll also have another max air fan up here, so that's going to be able to keep humidity out whenever you're taking a shower, or if you're having a bad experience in the bathroom, you can do it for everyone else's sake. So down here, storage compartment, drawer, and then another little storage compartment down here, and you'll also have the toilet paper holder already mounted in there, and they made a little trim piece of the wood, stuck it to the back of the cabinet door, and then mounted that toilet paper in there just so it has more to bite into, and you're not having to worry about poke through the face of that cabinet. So your toilet's going to be a foot flush. It is porcelain, so what you'd expect in a Newmar or any more expensive motorhome. The shower over here, so this is going to be a mid-bath. Even though it is a mid-bath, it still has a large shower, so you're going to have plenty of room this way as well as plenty of room this way. I'm only about 5'9", 5'10" on a good day, and I do have plenty of height, so right now the shower is still above my head without adjusting it, but it also has like another 1.5 foot up here. If you're a taller person, you can stand in that skylight, so it will provide a little bit of natural light, but also works for those taller people. It is a one-piece fiberglass shower in here, so you can repair this fiberglass if you ever damage it, crack, anything like that. So what's cool about this is a lot of Super Cs are meant for off-grid use. So this does have the shower miser in there. So what that does is you can rotate the valve, circulate the water through here, and it'll dump the water back into the fresh tank, so you're not wasting it down into the gray tank, and that'll change colors once the water is warm. That way you can just get hot water coming out of the shower head and waste a lot less water in here. So, all right, so the last thing that we're going to cover in here is going to be the bedroom, and then we'll do a quick overview of the chassis. If you're familiar with Freightliner, the chassis will be super easy. So on both sides you're going to have hanging wardrobes. So you'll have all the serial numbers for all the products on the sticker inside of here. You have mirrors in both of those, so it just gives you a little bit more workspace in here. You'll have your TV, and it's also storage with adjustable shelves behind the TV. Below that, you'll have 2 more drawers. Again, just optimizing storage space in the bedroom. Below those, you'll have 3 more drawers. And then we did option this one with washer and dryer. Oh, no, we didn't. It's prepped for it. Sorry. So what's cool about that is you do have the adjustable shelves in here. This side would be the one that the dryer goes in. So you could put that right out the sidewall if you ever need that. And then over here is where the washer would go. And they route out this countertop piece right there, so whenever you have to pull that soap dispenser out to load it up, you can automatically do that and not have to take the tray out and then push it back in there. I've never seen one without washer dryer, so that's cool seeing that it's adjustable shelves in there. Big bay window right here, so you get a lot of natural light in there. You'll also have lights on both sides of there. Behind these 2 false cabinets is going to be your breaker box, as well as some of the electrical that you have in there. The bed is going to be an adjustable bed, so you'll have a switch on the side of it, and you can lower it down whenever you are ready to go to sleep. And then you'll also have storage up above both sides, outlets up there, and then already cutouts routed out. So if you wanted to put CPAP up here or anything like that, you can drop those hoses down below and keep your CPAP up out of the way. So opening windows on both sides, felt pads behind the bed, just makes it a little more comfortable. You do have that kitchen countertop carried on to both sides of the bed, as well as outlets on both sides down below, and then a tiny little cabinet down there. So if you want to stuff some, any bedtime things, books or anything like that down there, you can do that. All right, so last thing as far as that, the ceiling, you're gonna have soft touch ceiling, and then you'll have all your vents and intakes down the center of it. So Newmar does that just so you're getting proper airflow even with the slides closed. That way it's cooling the motorhome and not just the top of the slide box. So very convenient, especially for traveling. So you could do that for warmth in the summer or the winter time, and then definitely used for AC in the summertime whenever you're traveling down in Arizona and stuff. So the last portion in here is going to be the chassis. So the S2RV chassis is going to be Freightliner. If you watched the last video that I just did, it was with Joe, our Freightliner rep. So we went through the bottom of an S6 and covered all the different things that are unique to Freightliner as far as serviceability and stuff. So with the S2RV chassis, you're going to have some storage up above that you won't have in a lot of the other chassis. You'll have the actual the sun visors in here, block out a little bit of light in there. You'll have a grab bar on that side, as well as being able to grab when you're getting in on the driver's side. You'll have cup holders down in the center, your standard dash controls. Your battery boost is going to be up front, so it's in a convenient spot. Your hydraulic leveling controls are going to be up front as well. The radio controls are going to be all up here, so your cameras are going to be built into this. It is Sirius XM, Bluetooth, USB. It's not going to have Apple CarPlay and things like that. It's just going to be Bluetooth. Your controls over here, hazard lights, footwell lights, the traction control, and then the fast idle switch on it. So there's no longer having to play around with turn the cruise control button on, pull the little dial, hit set and everything like that. You just flip a button for fast idle, and it will idle it up. That way you're not clogging up that DPF filter. All right, so the steering wheel controls, you're gonna have your exhaust brake on the right side. It's just simple as flipping it up and down. Drive neutral and reverse is gonna be on the column. Paddle shifting is just gonna be pulling it forward and back. Automatic and manual mode if you wanna lock out of gears, if you're traveling down mountains or traveling up and you don't want it to shift up and lose that power that you have, you can control it there. Cruise control settings are gonna be over here, as well as push to talk settings. And then volume control, as well as navigating this menu screen, is going to be on this left side. So with the S2RV chassis, you do still get all of your traditional display down here. You don't have all the digital displays. So you get to see everything in real time and don't have to worry about that display taking a while to turn on or the display failing or anything like that. So a lot of the traditional truck drivers and stuff that are okay with a smaller chassis do like this. You'll have light controls on the left side over here, and then the left stick on the steering wheel is going to be your windshield wiper controls, as well as your blinkers and headlight controls. So you can control all of that there. They made this change a few years ago just to get everything driver focused and not have to fumble around for switches and stuff like that. The last set of controls up here is going to be your mirror controls. So again, the electric mirrors are the upper portions. You can control which one you're adjusting it, the heat for those mirrors. Your windows are going to be over here instead of in the center like they used to be, and then your door locks are also going to be here. That's pretty much going to be it for this. So this has been the Newmar Grand Star 3444. If you have any questions about this or anything else we have to offer, feel free to contact me. My name's Justin. My cell phone is 404-936-6215. If you prefer email, it's justin.rogers@transwest.com.